Good afternoon, B and C class. This is Essential Language Packet number 4, House of Sand and Fog. Today I will read the major characters, plot summary, and discussion questions that go along with this. Again, Essential Language Packet number 4, House of Sand and Fog. Major characters, plot summary, and discussion questions. Let's begin. House of Sand and Fog. Major characters. Kathy Nicolo, a young woman who has been living alone since her husband left her 8 months earlier, who suddenly discovers that the local county government is taking away her house. Mossad Ami Barani, an immigrant who was a colonel in the Iranian Air Force, who decides to buy Kathy's house at a government auction as a way of getting back on the road to financial security for him and his family. Lester Burden, a deputy sheriff in the local police department who serves the legal papers to kick Kathy out of her house, but then becomes romantically involved with her and thus tries to help her get her house back. Nadi Barani, Mossad's Iranian wife, who is sweet and loyal, and who desperately wants to keep the standard of living she was used to having in Iran. Esmail Barani, Mossad's gentle 16-year-old son, who is hoping to go to an American university when he gets a little older. And Connie Walsh, Kathy's lawyer, who often works for poor people, who tries to help Kathy get her house back. And those are the major characters, 6 major characters. Kathy, Mossad, Lester, Nadi, Esmail, and Connie. Now on to the plot summary. Plot summary, page 2. Some people say that good drama can be summarized in one sentence. 2 dogs, 1 bone. This film is that kind of tragedy, as it is the story of 2 people who both have a genuine and reasonable belief that they own the same Southern California house. In fact, this house is near the beach originally belongs to Kathy Nicoli, a recovering alcoholic who is not drunk in several years, but is still struggling because her husband had left her 8 months earlier. She is not emotionally healthy and thus often does not look at her mail. Unfortunately, because of this, she fails to read several letters from the local county government, which say they are about to legally seize her house and sell it because she has failed to pay certain business taxes that the county says she owes. In fact, it appears that the county is mistaken, but by the time she realizes how serious the situation is, it is too late, and her house has been taken. The county sells Kathy's house at a public auction, and the person who buys it is Mossad Barani, an Iranian immigrant who was a colonel in Iran's Air Force before the 1979 revolution forced him and his family to flee to the United States. Mossad used to be wealthy and now works 2 low-skill jobs to support his family. But he believes he can begin the road back to financial security by buying this house at auction, well below its true market value. When he buys it from the county, he has no idea that it belonged to Kathy, or that Kathy had been wrongly thrown out due to a mistake. This horrible situation is made worse by Deputy Sheriff Lester Burden, who first meets Kathy when helping the county to legally force her out of her home. Lester, who is married with 2 kids but unhappy with his marriage, is immediately attracted to Kathy, and thus he decides to help her find a legal way to get her house, and as soon as possible. For Kathy, this is very important, since once she is kicked out, she is forced to live in cheap motels until even the money for that runs out. In the end, Lester clearly likes Kathy too much for their own good, as he decides to take the law into his own hands. The result is a tragic outcome for all people involved. A quick note on the language in this film. Some of the dialogue is spoken in Farsi, which is the native language of Iran. When subtitled words in English are explained in the glossary, they are noted with a Farsi marker. That is the plot summary for House of Sand and Fog. Now, the discussion questions on page 23. House of Sand and Fog discussion questions, page 23. Number 1, who has a stronger claim to the house, Kathy or Musad? Number 2, between Kathy, Musad, and Lester, who was the most innocent? Who was the greediest? Who was the most unethical? Number 3, if you had been in Musad's situation and you found out that the house you bought was mistakenly taken from the owner, what would you have done? What would you have done if your family was counting on you to keep it as a place to live? Number 4, was Musad's offer of $45,000 cash for the house really a win-win situation, as Lester thought it was? Number 5, who is the person most responsible for the tragedy at the end? Number 6, do you know any people who were rich and powerful in their countries who had to start over with almost nothing in the United States or in other countries? 7, list 3 things that you liked about this movie and explain why you liked them. 8, list 3 things that you did not like about the movie and explain why you did not like them. And that is the 8 discussion questions for this movie, House of Sand and Fog. In the next video, I will take you through language expressions 1 through 60. Thank you.